morning, everybody. It's a new day, and we're going to talk about the greenhouse and what we've got going on, what we've got planned for it for the winter. The greenhouse is really what produces for us in the wintertime, and just trying to get on top of it before it gets too cold, but while it's still a little warm in there. So it's a little bit of a dancing game, but we've got a plan for it, and I want to show you guys what we're going to do and maybe ask for a little bit of advice because I'm seeing an issue already. Before we get started, I was just checking on my bees, and man, they are super busy. I can't imagine what it's going to look like when there is like a full-on flow going on and the nectar is just coming in. This is just like a small piece of it for fall. It's pretty exciting. Thought that was cool and figured you guys would like to see that. I do need to go into my beehives later though. But for the greenhouse, we've got a plan, and we've actually started planting it a fair amount. And, you know, every year I try to rotate crops around a little bit, but it's hard because it's such a small space. And this is a 6x8 greenhouse, and even inside this footprint with a 6x8, I mean, we're only working, you know, we have a 2x6 section in the middle that's our walkway. And I also know that certain parts of my greenhouse grow better than other places in the greenhouse. For instance, this area right here, and I mean, I know why, it's because this pot's here, but this area right in front doesn't really grow good. It grew better, but when I put this big pot in the front, it kind of just messed it up a little bit. So we're playing with different plants that can use less light. And then, you know, you have this area right here, it gets good light, and everything I grow there just grows a lot better. Same with, try not to make you guys sick, so I'm moving slow. This area right here, from here, let's see, right here to about where my body ends is another really good spot. Now we do have a pot out front that's probably limiting a little bit right here, and we may end up moving that for the foreseeable future just to get it out of the way and let that sun come in, because you can, I mean, it's clear as day right now which way the sun comes in the morning, and it heats up the greenhouse faster. So we want to definitely take advantage of that, and I think this pot right here is just kind of in the way, for lack of a better term. I may just move it when I get around to moving the other pots, which I should probably move pretty soon, all the way over here. And now I did come in and clear all those big, whatever, sumacs or whatever they were. I cleared them out. So we shouldn't have too much of an issue, and we have space to put the pots down to kind of hopefully benefit from the heat that comes off of the greenhouse during the early mornings in the winter time. But this greenhouse is what's going to produce a fair amount of food for us in winter if everything goes according to plan. So we started planting it the other day, and I got the ground ready. I did the video about adding the piece of drip line in to this section right here. In the back, that little piece, and it was a little bit complicated, but it definitely works. And I can tell that the soil is already getting hydrated, so that means that we can now really start thinking about planting that side. Now I went through a couple iterations of a plan for the greenhouse for the year, and I definitely decided I was going to just do spinach all along the front, and I decided to go in a little heavy on spinach this year, and I did this whole bed in spinach. Sowed it pretty thick too. Super thick actually, and we'll be able to go through and get rid of them. And oh boy, I got a wasp in here. They've been trying to build wasp nests in here, and I've been killing them, and it's not working out great. And I actually just saw this one, so let's get that out. See that? We got to get this out of here. Been an ongoing saga for the greenhouse this summer is the wasps, and actually it was a hornet the other day. I built one in there, and it hurts when it stings. Good night. Anyways, I digress very quickly. So this is all spinach, and then here, last year and the year before, I did radishes here the year before, and then last year I did rutabagas. Turned out pretty good. It's very slow to grow, but it definitely turned out okay. And you can see why, because as the sun's coming in, you can see the shadow right here. So it kind of is what it is. I'm gonna put lettuce here this year. Last year I had lettuce here and here, and it's not much of a rotation, but I think I can get away with it this year. And we're gonna put some lettuce right in front, right here. And I actually have some miniature lettuces coming. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head. I just ordered them. Hopefully they'll be here in a couple days. But I'll put those in the front. Now the part that I was gonna ask you guys about, and I really hope that somebody can give me some insight, is this trellis in the back. I put it in here with great intentions, but everything that I put there just quickly outgrows it. I'm looking for something that stays small, that can go on this trellis, you know, a pea, something for the cold weather. I mean, I can grow peas in here, but the year I grew peas, they went up, over, and then they started spreading and latching, and it got really intense quick. So if you guys have anything in the comments that stays small, like a dwarf variety of something, let me know and we'll throw it in to see what we can do. But we're definitely running out of time quick, or I'll try and find something comparable. But I'm open to all suggestions, because last year I didn't even plant on the trellis, and it kind of feels like wasted space. And if I'm not gonna plant on the trellis, I'd like to get rid of it. But I also like when I come in here and I see something growing on the trellis, it looks good, makes me feel like I'm doing something a little bit better. So typically what I would do over here, and really for the whole thing, is I would do little plugs and patches of stuff. On this side, last year we had a couple Brussels sprouts here. They didn't amount to anything. We had a couple kales. They did okay. Things just got really packed together. And we're gonna take this front row right here, and we're gonna do all bok choy in the front. I'm pretty sure, it's a big gamble because it's the whole front, but we're gonna try and do the best we can. Being the way that this greenhouse has been operating the past couple of years, where it's been a little bit warmer, I mean, we're talking roughly about 4 degrees warmer at night. The sunlight is the only issue, but the bok choy should grow throughout the winter up until a certain point, and so we're gonna hope we get on top of it. Now the row behind it's tough, and I've come to realize a couple things for the greenhouse. I cannot put big plants in there. So cabbage doesn't really work very well. It takes up too much space. Broccoli doesn't. And my dog's gonna get stung by a bee again. She got stung on the head yesterday. Sorry, come on. Get away from the bees. Come on, good girl. No bees. That was not pleasant. So, you know, things that get really big, cauliflower doesn't really work. And even collards don't work very well because they just get too big. And also, we don't really need to grow collards in there. We do just fine out here with collards. They make it through the winter, pretty much no issues. But I think we're gonna do a couple things back there. We're gonna put a couple kale plants in because I'm behind on my planting for them. And I'm not gonna do a whole row of kale. If we look at it and we kind of break down how this is gonna work. So the bok choy will only get about 6 to 8 inches tall roughly, and then the kale will end up overpowering it. Now, it would be easier if we would just put the bok choy in the back and let it get most of the sun, but because it's so small, we have to harvest it differently or more often, and we harvest the whole plant. So we're gonna go ahead and put them up front, and I'm probably gonna do a kale plant back here. So I'll probably do 1 and then 2 kale plants. And then for the rest right here, thinking I'm gonna do 1 or 2 things. I may try to do carrots again, maybe. Or I may try to put onions in there and see if I can get them to grow. But so when you do the onions and you're planting it out, it gets so hot in there in the spring that it may burn them up. So I've got to be really careful about that, because we'll very quickly in the greenhouse be pushing 90+ degrees in the spring. And that's the thing, is you got to be looking forward a lot, just looking ahead, trying to see what's going to grow and how to manage it. And that can be very tough. But that will pretty much plan out the whole bottom of the greenhouse. Now we have a couple surfaces on there that we want to take care of and really pay attention to and use to our advantage. I could definitely use more shelving in here. Clearly, I have one itty bitty teeny small shelf. But we're definitely gonna put some seeds on here. Last year I put onions on here and they did pretty good. But I may actually just try to do all of my wildflowers and stuff like that in here, let them stratify naturally in here, or mostly naturally. I mean, obviously it's gonna be altered because of the structure. But then also on top of these pots, we're gonna try and put, even if it's just 2 6-packs of seeds, because they can benefit from the heat radiating out of it and help keep it warmer at night. So we may be able to kind of benefit from that, but we're definitely going to use these surfaces as well. Since we planted our spinach a couple days ago, we've officially kicked off greenhouse season. It is time, and we're going to do the best we can. I've got the bok choy seeds already started, and I've got the kale seeds started, so they're going. I have a couple more lettuce plants, but they're bigger lettuces, and I really want to do smaller lettuces in there just for the space purposes. And I may do a combo. I may do the smaller in the front and the taller ones in the back. So we'll see how that works out, but we're gonna have to direct seed it because it's still too hot in there. And even though today, I mean, obviously I'm wearing full sleeves, which is a total mistake after about 10 o'clock in the morning, it still will, you know, it still gets hot in there. And the seeds may not germinate as well, especially lettuce seeds. They can be a little bit finicky. So we're just gonna do the best we can and reseed that soon, but greenhouse season's here, guys. I hope y'all are having a fantastic day.
Goodbye.